Somewhere in this mess is a crop that I started nearly 8 months ago. That's right, I'm talking garlic. And even though it's been forever and a day since I planted them, these guys are still not ready for harvest. But that doesn't mean that there isn't anything to do. In fact, much of what we do now with our garlic could have the greatest effect on the size of the harvest that we get in just 6 to 8 weeks. Today, I want to talk all things garlic, specifically the things that we could do in the spring to ensure a maximum size bounty. Look, garlic is a long crop, upwards of 10 months, and even though it's quite low maintenance overall, it'd be a shame to not have it reach its full potential after all this time. Getting the most from our garlic assumes that we did everything right when we first planted it. Hard-necked garlic, such as this music porcelain type that I grow, is planted in the fall around 6 weeks before your first fall frost date. My fall frost appears around mid-November, so most years I start planting my garlic at the beginning of October. Spaced 4 to 6 inches apart, the individual cloves are planted about an inch deep, pointy end up. In the garden or in containers, garlic is all planted the same way. Always in a full sun location, in loose, well-drained soil that's free of impediments, mulched heavily for the coming winter, where that garlic lies in wait for the long-off spring. One of the first plants to come up in milder climates like mine, garlic will even sprout during or before the winter hits. It may look dramatic, but it rarely affects the bulb down below. As spring rolls on, our garlic leaves flourish, spreading out like a fan to a pretty impressive canopy. Which brings us up to date. Things are looking good, and we're about 6 to 8 weeks away from harvest time. If we want to get the best possible yield this summer, now is when we make our money. The first thing that we do with our garlic, and this should be done on a continual basis right from planting, and that's to weed. Garlic simply hates to compete, both with itself and against other nosy neighbors. Diligent and consistent cleaning of your beds and pots is going to ensure that your garlic has exclusive land rights and access to the water and nutrients of that area. In turn, this will make certain that you're growing the garlic bulbs to their full potential. Now that you've weeded and cleaned up your garlic, it's a perfect time to make sure that that soil is sufficiently moistened. Garlic is not a particularly thirsty crop, but left too dry, especially right now, could result in some pretty small bulbs. As the plant goes searching for moisture that isn't there, one of the first things to suffer is that bulb, which in and of itself is a storage of water and nutrients. You gotta keep your garlic moist, but never soggy and never standing in water. Further to that, cease all watering about 2 weeks before you intend to harvest. At best, watering too soon before you pull up those bulbs is going to make curing very difficult. At worst, well, they could rot and give you nothing. Speaking of those nutrients, despite being an extremely long crop, garlic is only ever fertilized twice in its life cycle, and both of those times are in the spring. We first fed our garlic as soon as it emerged from its winter slumber around 2 months ago. A balanced liquid blend watered into the plants thoroughly as soon as all snow and frost had melted away. The other time to feed your garlic is right now. 6 to 8 weeks before your intended harvest date, give your garlic one last boost. Again, go with a balanced nutrient blend, and again just water it in thoroughly. With water and nutrients taken care of, what about the plants themselves? Well, very shortly, if they haven't already, your garlic is actually going to send up flowers. As a biennial member of the allium family, garlic blooms in its second year of growth, sending up a flower spike known as a scape. The garlic doesn't need these scapes to live, and like all flower structures, it's a drain on the plant's resources and energy. All garlic scapes should be cut off, but wait until they're large enough to reach above that top fan of leaves. By this time, they'll be quite thick, but they're easy to cut. Simply nip them off as low as you can go. But don't throw them away, as they're completely edible and quite tasty. No other pruning or maintenance of the garlic leaves needs to be done, but cutting down those scapes really does max out your harvests. Seriously, when combined with the other tips that we mentioned today, it could be the difference between a disappointing harvest and an epic one. To make sure that you skew to the latter, let's recap all those main points so we don't miss a thing. Hardneck garlic is quite unique and unlike any other crop you'll grow. No other one-harvest plant spans all 4 seasons in a single cycle, from fall all the way until next summer. And yet, it remains remarkably straightforward to grow. Provided you planted it right in a full sun, well-drained location, there's but a few things that we need to do in the couple of months leading up to harvest. Weeding is tops among those, as garlic will always react poorly to competing plants in the area. Keep your beds or pots well weeded at all times. It's worth the effort. Water is another area that we need to be diligent on, as garlic prefers a moist soil. Never soggy, never standing in water, just nice and moist so that it can swell up those bulbs. But don't forget to stop all watering around 2 weeks before your intended harvest. Fertilizing is important too. Garlic gets fed only twice in its entire 8 to 10 month life cycle, and both of those times are in the spring. Once when the snow finally melts away, and then again about 6 to 8 weeks before your harvest. Well into spring, right around that time of your second feeding, your garlic is gonna go to flower. Known as scapes, remove all of these blooms to save your garlic's energy for the bulb production. Really pretty simple stuff, but combined, these tips will have you set up for your best garlic harvests yet. Garlic is not a hard crop to grow. The fact that it takes so long from planting to harvest leads people to believe that it's more advanced than it really is. Proper weeding, watering, feeding, and pruning are all it takes to grow an unbelievable amount of garlic bulbs every summer. Hopefully today I've given you everything you need to know down the final stretch here, and in a few weeks' time, we'll both be harvesting bucket loads of garlic. Hey, thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate the support more than you know. And if you're getting value from these videos, please like and share them to spread the word and help your fellow gardener to grow better.